What is up, guys? Raiouza the Vanguard of Royal Paladin here, and so today I am going to be doing an updated deck profile for my Exceed build for you guys. So I'm just going to get right into it. Grade 0 is your starter's Wingle Brave. He's your standard combo piece searcher. Triggers now. 4 Mascall heals, preferably for me. I like to have as many units with skills possible to that could be utilized. Running 4 Encourage Angel Stands. She's there to power up your units, and she's also able to cycle into the deck. I dropped my draws for stands to try to increase the aggression in the deck, and it's actually been working quite nicely. Running 2 Sharon. Fuels the soul, increases units' power, nothing else really to say about that. 4 Floral Paladin Flogel. Your standard multi-attack giver for Blaster Blade. And then lastly for triggers, 2 the new Arongol, same as Sharon, fuels soul, powers up units. Well, a unit. Now for grade 1s. 4 copies of Blaster Friend Barkle. He is your standard unflip engine of the deck. Then 2 copies of Blaster Rapier Laura. Pretty much just there for the resist and name. Don't really need her for anything else. 2 copies of Little Tactician Marin. She'll be there to search out your combo pieces later game and make them stronger. I usually tend to ride Marin if I go first, and save the Blaster rides for my second ride for grade 2, so I can utilize my Blaster grade 1s later in the game. And then lastly for Sentinels, I'm running 3 Leanne. She's a Blaster and Alfred specified Perfect Guard. Instead of discarding for the Perfect Guard costs, you just Soul Blast one. And then lastly, I'm teching in one normal Perfect Guard. I chose Walgal just because he's a little dog. You can go 2 and 2. I'm still debating on that because sometimes I can hit it in damage zone. I use it mainly just because of the new Marin G Guard. For grade 2s, for Boku no Bunshin, Who Shall Tachiagare, Blaster Blade. Just your main grade 2 that you use for most of your plays in the deck. You get your unflips, you get your multi-attacks, you get a twin drive on it. The card itself isn't great, but the stuff that goes with him is just incredible. Speaking of things that go with him, 3 copies of Lou. I cut one out just because there was other cards I wanted to run, and I felt like I was seeing him enough at 3. Next, 2 copies of the Bedivere GB. For some time I did try the OG Bedivere, but I also run Alfred in the deck, the grade 3, Alfred Oath, and I just wanted to have the ability to have him hit 12k regardless of the Vanguard I was on. Next for grade 2 is 2 copies of the Galatine. He's actually really nice to rush with, because if you're sitting on a Blaster Vanguard grade 2 and you have him on board, your opponents aren't going to have an easy time hitting him. They'll rather have to spend more cards from hand to board to try to get rid of him, or well, actually, yeah, that's about it. They'll just spend more cards trying to hit him, and if they don't, they just can't touch him. And then I'm running 1 copy of Blaster Blade Spirit, mainly because I only have 1 copy. I would run 2 if I did. I actually used to have 2, but I do not know what happened to the second one. So for now, until I can pick up another, I am running 1 copy of Blaster Blade Seeker as well. It's my only Legion rare one, so I figure I'd throw it in the deck because it really looks nice and I really like the art. That was one of my favorite. That was actually my most favorite Blaster Seeker art. Plus, it'll fill in just nicely for Spirit. Only difference is it's not a 10k base, which could hurt sometimes, because that 10k base is really nice. But anyway, moving on to grade 3s, your 4 copies of Blaster Blade Exceed. He is your usually main ride target of the deck, of course. Then running 2 copies of Divine Night King Alfred Holy Saver. Mainly I use him to rush when I don't have any good attacking units in my hand or on board already. Like, I'll ride him, I'll pitch something like a Rapier or a extra Bark Gall or something like that, and then I'll search out for 2 blaster units for the front row just so I can bring up the aggression. Like, for example, I would call out one of the new Lu, which I'm running 2 copies of, who would become a 16k attacker and would be a bit more difficult for your opponent to guard early game. And then the other grade 2 I would call usually would be a OG Blaster Blade or a Blaster Blade Seeker at this point. So for anyone who doesn't know what Lu does, he's pretty much like a burnout for Royals, but he doesn't Soul Blast. You just return a Blaster Blade card to bottom of the deck, he gets 5k instead of burning a rear guard till end of turn. And then he's also a 5k shield if you're on a Blaster or Alfred Vanguard, or just Blaster. Yeah, Alfred or Blaster Vanguard, and he also gains the ability to intercept. So that's it for the main deck. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into the G zone. Starting off, I always go G Guardians, so standard 1 Dismal for rearguard protection, 1 copy of the Assault, who can become a nice 25k shield for 1 counterblast, 1 Divine Mascol for a slight turboing to GB8 plus free 10k shield. And then I'm running 1 copy of the new Marin G Guard, which skill is Soul Blast 1 when you're on a Alfred or Blaster Vanguard. And then you search for a grade 1 or greater card from your deck and call it to Guardian Circle. So I would usually use that for the Wall Galls. Well, Wall Gall, I only have 1 in here. But I would usually search out him to block a Gilles de Reyes, Phantom Blaster Diablo, Dragstride Lord once it comes out, and pretty much anything that has guard restriction on grade 1s. But that's pretty much it for the G Guardians. Now for the strides. Running 1 copy of Blazing Sword Fides. I usually go into him more on the control matchups, like Kagero and Narukami mainly. I'll explain a little bit more after I go over the next card. Running 2 copies of Holy Divine Knight Ganslaw Peacesaver. Since he's a new card, his skill, on attack, countercharge 1 when you have a Heart with Blaster Alfred. He gets +1 drive, and if something face up in the G zone, he gets extra critical. So you're just plussing 3 things when you're striding at second, but I usually only go into first stride, except for my control matchups. I will usually go into the Fides. Now, thing about the Fides, reason for going to him into control matchup is because if you know your opponent's got a heal trigger, say for Kagero or Narukami, and you think they're going to impede on you, or Bulwark Dragon or Denial Griffin, you can just first stride Fides, unflip 1 Gansalot, have Gansalot's protection skill first stride. Oh, I forgot to mention that too. Gansalot has a second skill that during your turn, while he's in the G zone face up, your Blaster Blades get resist. So they cannot be retired by Denial Griffin, Impede, or Bulwark Dragon, and whatnot. So that's why I would usually go Fides first stride, just to avoid getting my attackers Denial Griffined or Impeded or Bulwark Dragon and whatnot. You don't really care about his other skill, you just use him for the call skill and the fact that he can get you Gancelot's skill a turn early. So next for strides, I'm running, of course, the 4 copies of Divine Knight King, Alfred Holysaver. He is the main reason that I added stand triggers to the deck. So say you're on him, you have your Blaster Blade Rearguard. You give it Twin Drive, it's got 3000 power more, you attack with it, check a stand trigger. It's pretty much a Royal Paladin version of the Wise Man loop then. And plus the fact they have your Flowless, so you can just keep going into Blaster Blade more. So that's why I put in stand triggers, was to increase the aggression and amount of attacks the deck could get on Alpha turn. That is the turn is most helpful. So next up for strides, running 2 copies of Aerial Divine Knight Altmile. He is just a good aggression card overall. Gets you another attacker, makes it stronger. That's really about it. He pretty much just is there for what Fides does as well. He searches out your lose when you need them, or whatever attacker you need. That's great too. Make your other grade 2 rear guards hit a Vanguard, or make your grade 1 rear guards hit your opponent's grade 2 rear guards. So now, next for the G units, I'm running 2 copies of Holy Squire Dragon. That is the other reason I'm running Alfred, besides the rush, because I ran into Chaos Breaker at my local's regional qualifier, and I was on Alfred, but I couldn't go into Squire because I didn't have him in at the time. I didn't think it was needed at first, but then I realized, looking back, that this might actually be something important for me. Sure, you have the Gancelots, which also work for Link Joker matchups, but Squire just increases that aggression a lot more. Like, you're rushing your opponent constantly, whereas you're swinging at them grade 1, you're swinging at them grade 2, you're hitting hard grade 3, and then suddenly they just drop the Chaos Breaker on you, and you have nothing to attack with besides your Vanguard. And they're sitting there with only a couple cards in hand. In that scenario, you go Squire, unlock your board, and you hit them with even more aggression than you would when you're just attacking with Gancelot. And it's even more aggression since the fact that I added stand triggers to the deck. So, yeah. I find that Squire is a very good addition right now. And that's why I'd like to keep Alfred in this deck for now. And then lastly, I am running 1 copy of the Royal Paladin GB8, Olbius Avalon. He is an excellent card to fall back on if you use up your Alfreds. He is just about 100% going to kill your opponent when you stride him in this deck, because this deck can hit, go strong multi-attack. Well, actually, yeah, that's what describes it. Strong multi-attacks. They can hit some good numbers and good amount of attacks, and Olbius Avalon just takes it to a whole nother level. So that's pretty much it for the deck profile, guys. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, like this video, And if there's any other Royal Paladin decks you guys want to see me do in the future, just leave them down in the comment section below. So thank you guys for watching. See you all next time. Bye-bye.